Come here. This is where the archives are, and this is Go Island. Go Island is on location today at the Campbell River Museum, and we are going to check out the archives. We are so excited about this because Beth Boyce, who's the curator, and Catherine Gilbert, who is all things promotion, marketing, and archives, is going to give us an education about how they use them and how you can access them. That's all coming up in today's show. So first, we're going to watch this, but stay right there. I'm Mary Ruth Harris, and joining me now is Catherine Gilbert, and we are down in the archives at the Campbell River Museum in a very hallowed place. I love the feeling down here. It's so, I don't know, it smells smart.
It makes you feel that way when you're
it
really
does.
does, yeah.
Now, one of the great things about the Campbell River Museum, I guess the museum at Campbell River website, is that people are able to access certain archives right online. So why don't you tell us about that?
That's right. Now, when you go to our website, crmuseum.ca, under resources, we have a collection of logging photos. Like many museums, the museum here realized that it was really important to digitize the collection as much as possible because people do online research.
Right.
And it brings it to the public's attention. It shows them what's out there. So if you're looking for a specific photo about a specific logging company, and for example, I'll say Ben Dixon Logging.
You can actually search for that?
You can actually search. It's got a wonderful feature, and we'll just click on the first picture, and there you go. Now, if you're interested, you can order this one, and we have the price list.
What do you mean order it? Like you can order an actual copy?
You can order,
of it?
oh yes, you can order an actual copy, yep.
Oh, that is
because, you know, as most people know, a web copy is not high enough resolution to print or reproduce. It's just for you to look at it. And there's usually a little bit of a history that goes with every photo. And we do encourage people to add to that history. So if, for example, you see a group of people and you recognize, oh, that was my grandfather in that photo, let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, we love to identify people.
Oh, okay, great.
There are approximately 1,400 photos in this one particular gallery.
Okay.
We also have a gallery about Campbell River history.
Okay.
And the current gallery that's being worked on is about all of the Discovery Islands out here.
Oh, great.
But that one isn't complete yet.
All right. That is really, really cool. So if you have a bit of time on your hands, which most people do at some point, instead of watching that next episode of whatever TV show you're watching, get onto the Campbell River website for the museum and explore and learn something about your history. So interesting that you have made that available to the public. So we are going to take a short break, but we'll be right back. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. We're on location at the Campbell River Museum down in the archives, and with me still, Catherine Gilbert. Now, this is one of your favorite aspects of the archives, and I want to mention you can access this stuff too. You just have to come and participate, and Catherine and Beth will help you. So what is this area here?
Now, this is where we have quite a number of photos that have been copied and put into these particular binders. So to give you an example, I wrote an article for this, we do a monthly column in the Mirror called A Look Back into the History of the Campbell River Area. And I was researching about Sointula. So of great assistance to me is a book that Paula Wild wrote about Sointula, but also these pictures. The particular one I used here is right here in the archives.
So how did you find it?
So I went alphabetically looking for Sointula. So just pull out this drawer, and then you can find, there is just like the old Dewey Decimal System that you might remember.
I do.
You know, from the libraries. And
flashbacks to grade 4 right now.
That's it. So for example, we have Sointula people and a number. So then I would go to the corresponding binder
3931
and pull it out. And then there would be the picture that I'm looking for.
Oh, cool.
Now, in some cases, you find that there is a picture that's been numbered or cataloged, as we say in this world, but it's not in there. That's when you go to get some help from the archivist, who would in most cases be Beth. And it will, in most cases, it turns out that it's actually in our collections, but for some reason it hasn't been made public, so she can determine whether or not we can share that with you. And it's
Great.
just like the online, you can order a copy.
Oh, okay.
While you're here, you can make photocopies.
And you do have
of things.
photocopiers
Yep.
here for people
Yeah,
to use.
That's right.
Okay. Well, that is fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing this little part of the archives with us. I think it's really interesting that this is available to the general public to come in and access their history of their area. And
Yes, I think people are quite often very pleasantly surprised about the extent of what's in here. It might look like a small space, but we have a huge number of books that are all about this particular region, because that's what we represent,
Right.
the whole North Central Island region.
Yeah. I can't get over the number of photographs. Like
Yeah,
there's that many
thousands.
like thousands. Like look at all the cards in here.
Yeah.
And then these all correspond to these books, and then that corresponds to the permanent collection you have stored away.
Yes.
That's so cool. All right, thank you so much for your time today. It's it's been very insightful.
You're welcome.
All right, we are going to have a look at this story, but when we come back, Beth Boyce. Go Island is still here on location at the Campbell River Museum, and we are in the archives with curator Beth Boyce. Now, what are these black things behind you?
These are a really excellent resource, actually. These are what
Really?
we call our vertical files.
Oh.
And so what it is, it's clippings from newspaper articles over the decades, as well as articles and chapters photocopied from books, things completely by subject. So
Oh,
if you're
okay.
starting a research project, it's a really awesome place to start. It's basically like a Wikipedia, a random assortment of things that we have related
For
to a
that topic.
specific topic.
Okay.
So for example, and it's all alphabetically organized. So
Okay.
there's a binder to kind of give you a clue of what files we have.
Oh, okay.
But for example, here I've got one about hydro development in Campbell River.
Oh,
It's a
oh
really
my
fat
God,
file.
Look at the size of it.
Yeah, and it's filled with all sorts of newspaper clippings over the decades, because hydro's been a big part of this community. Articles, everything.
Wow.
And it's a really great starting point for research. And I use these files thoroughly when I'm developing exhibits at the
Oh,
museum
so this
as well.
is how you start to develop?
Well, it's certainly
Okay.
one of the resources I go
okay.
to, because we have all the newspapers in our archival collection, but
Right.
they're bound in volumes by year. So you don't necessarily have an index
subject.
by subject for
Got
the
it.
newspapers, but this is it.
Okay, so
this is
if
great.
I'm Stephen Watson, who's the communication director at BC Hydro,
Mm-hmm.
if he comes in, he goes, okay, well, I really need to know the history,
Mm-hmm.
and I like this one and this one and this one, but can I take this out with me?
No, it's
So
for
how do
use
I-
in the building, but absolutely people are welcome to photocopy things.
Okay.
So we have a
Photocopier
photocopier
right there.
in the room people can
Okay.
use. I believe it's about 25 cents per page
Perfect.
to photocopy. I think we have a discounted student rate, because we
Okay.
really like to encourage students to come in and use the
For
resources.
research, yes.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
there's a ton of material here as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, students, I think, automatically go to Wikipedia because it's what they've grown up with, it's what they know, but you would discourage that. Why?
Well, Wikipedia is a great jumping off point for research if you're not really sure what search terms to use. I even use Wikipedia for that, where
Okay.
I know I want to research, for example, traditional foods.
Okay.
But I don't know what the names of those traditional foods are. So
Okay.
I might go to Wikipedia, look up a few names, and then go to other resources to find that information.
So then they would come here and use the
Absolutely,
actual
or the
tactile.
libraries at their school, or,
Okay.
or wherever. But Wikipedia, because it can be edited by everyone, you
Yes.
can't be sure of where the resource is coming from.
And
Some
if
of-
it's correct.
And if it's correct. So
Okay.
a lot of it is good, and they cite where they're getting their information, but you can just never be sure.
All
So
right.
I use it as a jumping off point, but I certainly don't use that as the be all and end all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we are going to have a look at this story, but coming right back, Beth is going to talk to us about the resource books. So stay tuned for that. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. Joining me is Beth Boyce, the curator here at the museum at Campbell River. And behind us is a wall of books. Now, what is so special about these books?
Well, our reference library here at the museum is incredibly focused. So it's not large. You can see it's just on this one wall. But all of these books are directly related to the North Vancouver Island region in every potential topic about our human history. So you're looking at a really specific resource library. Often things that you can't find in the bigger libraries because we use a lot of things that like small local publications, local historians, that sort of thing.
So if I wanted to know something about Quadra Island, there would be a book here about Quadra Island?
There would be several.
Several,
yeah.
okay.
And many that you wouldn't necessarily find in other libraries as well.
Oh, that's really
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
So, and again, can people check these out like a normal library?
No, it's not
Okay.
a lending library, it's a
Okay.
reference library. So people are welcome to use it here in the room.
Okay.
And we have regular open hours for the public,
Okay.
Tuesdays through Fridays from 1 to 4.
Okay.
But if those times don't work for you, we can absolutely make an appointment and make this room available for people at another time. They just
Okay.
need to give us a call.
So they're able to come and to take a book and have a look at what's in it. And if they like what they see, I had that upside down. Oh, interesting. If they think that they want to keep this for research, how do they?
Again, it would be, they could photocopy
it.
a section
Oh,
up for their own personal research.
But they can
use,
sit
yeah.
and work here
Absolutely,
at the tables
absolutely.
and make notes. And
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and we do often have people come in to use the library.
Okay.
University students as well as researchers and writers are often in here using
Great.
the works.
Is
yeah.
this one of your favorite parts of the archives?
Well, one of the things I really like about my job is that because it's such a specific library, part of my job is actually searching out books that we don't yet have.
Oh.
So I
Shopping.
have a book budget, and as a book person, it's really exciting to be able to spend some money and get some really neat books that you're not going to find elsewhere.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, have you started publicizing what books you have here, like on the website, so that
No,
people
we
know?
don't have a database. We're working on getting it cataloged into a
Okay.
database that people
Super.
can search.
Excellent.
And we have discussed putting it on our website, but it's not
Okay.
finished yet. We're
But
still
we're
working on
It's
it.
in the works.
It's in the works.
Okay.
But right at this stage, we're still old school with card catalogs.
All
So
right,
it takes
perfect.
a little bit of time to find a book, but you can.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. So this is the card catalog for the reference library here in the museum archives that Beth was referring to. So you find the card for the book that you want, and it'll tell you where to look on the shelves for it. Pretty cool. And you can come and access it from 1 to 4, Tuesday through Friday. And you can make an appointment if those hours don't work for you, but it is a super resource. And now we're going to have a look at this. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. Thanks so much for joining us today here at the archives at the Campbell River Museum. Everything from the vertical files, which has old newspaper clippings, to the resource book library that is available. You can come and sit at these tables and figure out what it is you want to find out, and you can make photocopies of what you want, all the way to the online that Catherine showed us, to the card resources of photographs. Look at all the photographs that are available for you to have a copy of. So you look here, you find it here in this, and then if it's not there, you can order it from Beth to get it from their permanent collection in the back. So here at the archives, really terrific resource for everyone to use. So you out there in the public, you can come down to the archives and look up a little bit of your history. Thanks so much for joining us today. Have a great couple of days, and we'll see you soon.